Hey, ever heard of gene decode? Patty knows this. I could hang out with Patty Broussard all day long. She's a highly intelligent woman. Well, she's more than that. She's twin spirit. But This is when you're dealing with information wars. What you're really talking about is we're dealing with information that travels through circuits, or electronic information that travels through circuits. Okay, and Patty knows this kind of stuff because she's up there. But when you have, remember I talked about different levels of empathy, or any detection of loss in electrons, which is like a bug an inch long, and you cry. Well, when you've sort of grown, the amount of light that you have with your soul, spirit, body, to experience something like that and realize that there's no way that you could coexist in a realm like this where you have that much love in your heart to detect loss of electrons and light and something, it would be very extremely difficult to navigate through a realm without crying every day. Okay, right? But having said that, it has enormous benefits when you're in a spiritual war. And the reason for that is that while I've covered what it means to be more powerful in spirit when you're in the light, like the girl on the planet, right? You sort of have to realize when you scale up how big the universe is and all the tech that's out there, star cruisers and all the rest of it, and you realize the level of tech that's available and can be used against humanity in order to hold its mind captive, running their programs.
Is this your bag?
Right? Okay, I'm doing a video. Hang on. Just leave it there. I'll get it. That This is the way it is. Hey, it's just like I talk to people all the time. Their mind is always held captive by somebody else that's interrupting what it is that they're doing, because everybody's got to know what everybody else is doing, because everybody's in a program that's based about control. Okay, so they reinforce the program that they're held captive by, and everybody holds each other captive, and none of them are free. And as a result of that, they're all draining each other's light, which means that's what I do, and that's the point. We measure the light. How much light you got in you? That is actually a measurement of how intelligent you are, believe it or not, isn't it? Trying to learn how to maintain it to keep your battery charged, right? So if you learn through the girl on the planet, you learned how to do it just by observation. That's one of the reasons why the native clans and tribes are here, to teach you how to do that, which is why they wanted to kill all of us off, right? So that you don't learn through us how simple it is. Having said that, Gene Decode, when I first saw him put up, actually I was introduced to him through this lady called CW. And while there's qualifiers and givens, okay, just because you're a model, okay, and you're always worried about what your hair looks like in the mirror because you want to look pretty for others, right? That's a whole nother subject of why girls do that, okay? That's another program, okay? I saw that. It's the same thing that I've described in my other videos, where they throw everything at you, where everything is judged by what it is they put in their magazines, and you realize that, well, if this is what they're putting in the magazines by which I've got to do in order for me to be accepted by others, then I better do that. That's programming. Cosmopolitan, 17 magazine, and all that stuff. It's all about what you look like and all the rest of that. This isn't about spiritual growth and development. This is about programming. So that you don't develop spiritual growth. Remember, there's a different path. You want to gain more density through materialism, and hey, look at me and throw money at me, and I can be glamorous and be on the stage and all the rest of it, right? So CW, okay, was sort of my first clue, and I thought, well, one, you're not a native Indian, because native Indians don't do that kind of stuff. It's not that they don't want to look pretty and don't want to look attractive. It's you're reading the language or the energy of the being, because I'll just tell you, you can read the programming. And how is that? Because I'm reading the circuits, the program that is the information that they're running through their unconscious memory, through which they communicate with you with. That's what I can do. So when I was introduced to Gene Decode through her, the first thing that I noticed is, hey, that's Patty's stuff. Patty Broussard's stuff. So when I realized he'd been in the U.S. Navy and he started imparting to people the information that he knew, math, science, it was not only, first of all, when you can read people like that, I began to realize, okay, who is this guy? So when he started talking about Jesus and blessed to teach and all that kind of stuff, I thought, okay, Patty must have given you that information, or you got that information. Patty, but you're not one of us. Okay, you're another group. You're with another group because you're obviously not a native Indian or clan. Okay, these people are easy to read because we can read their energy. Okay, which is to read their circuit board, their DNA, their genetics. How's that? So what I found sort of strange about this, and now I love my clan mother, okay? But then one night, my clan mother, Karen Ann Luke McDonald, spent about 2 hours on a video with this guy. And I'm going, Karen, what's going on here? And I began to realize through everything that she was unfolding about what she was talking about Canada and all the stuff, the information that he had in his head, right? That they were exchanging the information, and I began to realize that because of all the experiences that I've had as a result of the level of density consciousness that I run when I was about 14 years of age, when I realized, looking through my own looking glass and timeline, why it was the CIA was doing everything that they were doing in the 1960s. Because you can quantify, remember, mapping the terrain, future proves past through the consciousness field of ascension, right? Collapse of the timeline, trying to program the collapse of the timeline, wars over timelines, et cetera, which is war over information. So I began to realize that this guy's cabal. So I was thinking to myself, you know that, right? I'm thinking to myself internally about my clan mother. So I thought, what are you doing with this guy? He got this shit from Patty. So I thought, this guy isn't on the same team. He may have similar information. He may know what's going down in these dumps. But that's no different information you get from Patty Broussard. Okay? So now we get into the information war part of it, which means just because they have the same information doesn't mean they're on the same team. Because that's how these wars are fought. Knowing your enemy. And the easiest way to know that is really a measurement of how empathic you are. Patty knows that. Because an empath has to read your entire energy field to see where you're losing energy or where you have any resistance. To see whether or not we need to